We're back here at Brainerd International Raceway, where it is now time for this quiet lunch hour to wrap up, and we are going to shift our attention over to some racing. It is Superbikes at Brainerd. It is round number 4 of the 9-round championship in the 10th anniversary season of the MotoAmerica Championship. But first up for today, we're going to get to race number 2 for the Stock 1000 category. And when you look at them specifically, Roger Hayden, this is only round number 2 of the 5-round championship.
Yeah, still really early in their season. So, but you know, a lot of guys, we knew Hayden Gillum carrying that number 1 plate was going to be tough to beat this year, and so far he's proved that.
And Hayden Gillum, he won both of the races back at Barber Motorsports Park. He was our winner yesterday in the first race of this weekend, and he led the morning warm-up. He was our pole sitter. How do you stop him?
It's just not only is he winning the races, but it's how he's winning on by such big leads. And you know, you just keep working. You try to close the gap. You just watch video. You try to get better with your crew, but you know, you never know what can happen in racing, but right now Hayden's looking really strong already, and the guys got some work to do.
Let's take a look back at yesterday in the first race that we saw Hayden make it to the top step of the podium, but it was still a great race.
Yeah, great start by Hayden there, pole position. Benjamin Smith as well got a really good start early on in that race. Ashton Yates. You can see these guys know what Hayden's pace is, and they try to be aggressive and go with him early. Benjamin Smith. Jason Uribe also having a really good ride early on. Gabriel De Silva, you see him there 4th. All these guys were close together early, but you know, it's just Hayden was able to get out there, and you know, just watching him on the screen, the way he's so comfortable on that Honda this year. Teams did a great job, and you know, as he finishes out the lap, you can see here comes Benjamin Smith and Jason Uribe. These two had a great battle all the way to the end of the lap for 2nd and 3rd, while Hayden was just slowly pulling away each lap on and just breaking the track record, race records. And Jason Uribe, you see his last lap, tries to make the pass for 2nd, turn 12, runs a little bit wide, runs off track, cost him the spot. But Hayden Gillum with another commanding win.
Yeah, that victory was by 7.4 seconds over Benjamin Smith, and with 3 races now under their belts in the Stock 1000 category for the season, these are the points and the way they shape up. Mentioned that Hayden Gillum has been able to win all 3, so he's got the perfect 75 points. Bryce Prince has had a handful of podium finishes, and he's sitting 2nd, but 31 points back.
Yeah, and you know, Hayden, they're going to have to slow him down. That's quite a bit of a gap here early on in the race, but Benjamin Smith there, and Ashton Yates and Jason Uribe, those guys have been pretty consistent, but they need to be winning.
Also said that Hayden Gillum was able to come out this morning and lead the morning warm-up session, but this is the thing that was impressive. When you look at lap times in the morning warm-up, Roger, Hayden was able to do a 1:31.83. What does that mean? Well, yesterday in the race, he broke the race record here in Stock 1000 with a 1:31.83. So he's able to repeat the times that he did in the race, breaking the track records, but in the morning warm-up.
And it just seems like every time he's out on track that he just gets more comfortable on this Honda and able to do those lap times. And the morning warm-up is really impressive. So we'll see today. And you know, the guys work hard and they look at the gap, and you know, they want to close it down.
Yeah, after he took commanding wins in both of the races at Barber Motorsports Park. After that first day, he had an 11.5-second lead over the field, and they were able to close it down to by just a second, down to 10.5 seconds, but there's still a lot of work to do and be able to catch up to Hayden.
Yeah, and Bryce Prince yesterday is going to be one to watch for, number 17 in this race. He missed pit out yesterday for that race, had to start in the back of the grid, was able to work himself into the top 10, really top 5, but he had a jump start, so he had a 5-second penalty as well. So he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be fighting for the podium.
Also looking at the results from yesterday, Benjamin Smith, he had a great day. Ashton Yates had a really solid getting that podium finish for him. And Jason Uribe is another one of those riders to keep an eye on. He was able to finish 4th yesterday.
And Nolan Lampkin, you know, we talked to him at the pre-show on Friday, really looking forward to this weekend. Finished a little further back than he would have liked yesterday, but he looked good this morning as well.
There is Jason Uribe on that 360, the Orange Cat racing bike, and he's going to have his head down. He's ready to put himself up on the podium. He's talked about it a few times so far this season.
And he had it yesterday, just that one mistake there down into turn 12. Cost him a spot, and I bet he doesn't make the same mistake today. Looks like Benjamin Smith is having a problem.
Not sure what it was he was trying to signal over to his team. Making sure everybody's in the right grid position. The sighting lap has been completed. There's another look at Ben. It seems like he's no longer trying to communicate whatever it was he was trying to get across. Everybody's just waiting for the warm-up lap.
MotoAmerica Stock 1000 coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
With this warm-up lap now underway, Roger, Brainerd International Raceway, you either love it or you hate it. Take us around this 2.5 mile.
And it's a really fast track, especially here on these 1000s, all the way through turns 1 and 2. Really almost flat out through there, down into turn 3. And from there, the track flows really well together, 4, 5, 6, down into the long right-hander, turn 7. And then the track gets really tight with that chicane through 10, 11. The last corner, turn 12, down into the 13. One to watch for is turn 12. That's where we've seen most passes right there, that left-hander. Most passes this weekend and also the most mistakes.
One rider that we didn't mention, we'll get to in just a second, as we take a look at the starting grid and how everyone is going to line up once they get out there. You see Hayden Gillum, our pole sitter, Benjamin Smith, and Ashton Yates making up that front row.
Good qualifying for Danilo Lewis there, 4th. Bryce Prince and Jason Uribe.
It's row number 2. Get back to row number 3. We have Richard Kerr, Gabriel De Silva. He's the one I wanted to mention. Didn't finish yesterday, but he's got another shot at it today with Andrew Lee right alongside him on row 3.
Then we got Nolan Lampkin, Travis Wyman, and Justin Meese, the local boy there with the good qualifying as well.
And we do have a full 29 rider field. You see Anthony Norton there on row 5, Alex Arango right by him. Row number 6, you've got Bobby Davis, Augustin Sierra. We move back to row number 7, Tyler Bingford, John Knowles, Manuel Segura. Full field, Roger.
Full field. You see JC Camacho there as well there on row 8.
Back on row number 9, Dan Dickerman, Mike Bishop, Jeffrey Perk. Because Stephen Shakespeare there on row number 10, bringing up the field. It's a new bike and a new program for Stephen Shakespeare with that Ducati that he's now running this year. You see everyone's made their way back into their grid positions. That green flag waved at the back of the field. Everyone is ready to go. As soon as they're out of the way, you're going to see the lights go up in the top left-hand side of your screen. Once the lights are out, it's time to go racing here. Race number 2 for Stock 1000 at Brainerd International Raceway, and it looked like a clean start for everyone.
Yeah, a really good start for Hayden Gillum again as well, Benjamin Smith. Ashton Yates, good start for him, already up into 3rd.
Look at what Hayden Gillum has already been able to do just through the first 2 corners, already showing where he's the strongest rider that's out there on the track. That first part of the racetrack, he is so fast.
So fast through 1 and 2, and even through 3 here, and then the infield part of this track is where he's had these guys covered at. You can see the gap already where the track gets tight here through 4 or 5. Hayden just is able to get the power down on the Honda. Looks like it changes directions really well for him as well.
Benjamin Smith right there behind him, finished 2nd in the race yesterday with Ashton Yates right there, also able to get that podium result. That's how they're stacking up right now. Jason Uribe, though, and you see Bryce Prince with being able to start up front. He's able to hang on to the back of this pack.
Yeah, he's right there. And Danilo Lewis is doing a great job also with his best qualifying, able to try to hang on to this pack. And Richard Kerr from 2nd all the way down to about 9th. These guys are really bunched up.
You know, after the race yesterday, one of the things that Hayden said was he knew the gap that he was able to pull out on the opening 2 laps, and from there he used the rest of the race to think about how he could improve for today.
And he will improve. And this is what his plan is, to go out and try to break away from the group, and then he doesn't have to worry about battling anyone. He can just focus on his own race and just continue to get comfortable on that new Honda.
You see Ashton Yates there looking to get around Benjamin Smith. This is the battle for 2nd. Ashton sat behind him for 1 lap and taking notes on that opening lap, and he can see where he's stronger, and Ashton Yates makes that move around Benjamin Smith, but can he make it stick?
And he made it stick there into 2. He tried it going in and kind of pushed Benjamin out a little bit, and he was able to make the pass. But now you can see Jason Uribe. He's trying to make a pass on Benjamin Smith now as well. So Hayden's down. Maybe it's
no. That's the 222. That's Manuel Suguera.
Oh,
there are
down.
2 bikes. That is Hayden. So we've had a 2-bike incident here on lap number 2, and our leader Hayden Gillum, one of the riders involved. You see Manuel Suguera.
I can't imagine that they were together. It has to be, I would assume,
2 separate incidents. Yep.
So this race has changed now. Ashton Yates is your leader. Things have changed quick. We talked about it right before the race. You never know what happens. Racing, things can happen. All these guys thought they were going to be racing for second today. Now things have changed.
And both of the riders were up. Here's some replays.
Here, we're just going to catch the end, but it's down into turn 4, and it looks like it's really early. You know, usually when you crash on the middle, and Hayden gets up and he looks confused as well. Here's the other angle. Here, just lost the front end. You get to see it bouncing a little bit, and just made a mistake trying to push early on in this race to do what he did yesterday to get that little gap, and you know, just made a mistake, and that happens.
What started off as potentially not that bad of a tip over, as soon as the bike hit that curbing, it flew up into the air and it became much more dramatic. But both riders were able to get up, and the bikes were able to be moved out of the way. So the racing has continued here at Brainerd International Raceway. Ashton Yates leading over Benjamin Smith, but looks like Jason Uribe has been able to get around Benjamin Smith.
And I think
this lap.
Those riders seen Hayden down, and they seen this is their opportunity to go out here and really get that win today. Ashton Yates is in some territory he hasn't been in really a lot, is out there leading the race, setting the pace, and he's doing a great job. He's pulled out to about a half a second lead right now.
And Bryce Prince is right there on the back of Benjamin Smith, trying to put himself in position to be able to earn a podium finish today. And you can see the frustration there for Hayden as he just throws the gloves over the fence, and he's going to make that long walk back.
Yeah, it's going to be disappointing just knowing that the pace he had and made a mistake. But, you know, and racing crashing happens, and Hayden's crashed before, and he'll learn from it, and he won't make that mistake again.
No, he said it back at Barber Motorsports Park in the first round of competition that bike was really good. So hopefully the team can put it back together the way he wanted it and move on to the next race. But go back to the action right now. Jason Uribe sitting in second right now behind Ashton Yates. You can see the gap that Ashton's been able to pull. It's just under a second the last time they crossed the stripe for that lead that Ashton has. Benjamin Smith still holding on to that 3rd place position, but Bryce Prince being able to start from his grid position, he's staying with these leaders.
Yeah, and Ashton's doing a great job leading here, pulled out to about 8/10 so far. And, you know, he's got to remember to breathe. It's different when you're the one out there setting the pace at the front. You're not judging your speed off the guys in front of you. You just got to try to be calm and make sure he hits his marks.
That podium that Ashton was able to earn yesterday, finishing 3rd. It was his first podium of the season. He didn't have the start at Barber that he would have liked. He had a 5th place finish and then wasn't inside of the top 5 after that. So it was a good comeback day for him, and now he's leading the race.
And then I think maybe Nolan Lampkin might have crashed in turn 8. Seen a blue bike sliding out, yes.
Yep, that is Nolan Lampkin. He's our reigning Superbike Cup points champion from last season. We had him on the preview show earlier this weekend, and you know, he was looking just baby steps, and this is certainly going to put being told that he is back on the bike and he was able to get it back out to the racetrack. Maybe he can keep turning some laps.
Yeah, and just try to get that top 15 and try to get a couple points as we go back to the lead. Jason Uribe again there. Feels like he has the pace to maybe chase down Ashton, but right now the top 4 guys are just kind of trading lap times. They need to pick it up a little bit if they're going to close down the gap to Ashton in that first sector. Jason was a little bit quicker.
In the last lap, Jason did close that gap down. It was just under a second that Ashton Yates had been able to pull up, and now we're down to 8/10, and Jason Uribe is putting in his best lap so far.
You can see it in Jason's riding. He can tell he's in the rhythm right now. You can see it when you're behind the rider, when you're starting to chase him down, and you can see now he's really starting to close that gap pretty quick.
You weren't watching the coverage yesterday for race number 1. Jason Uribe is back full time here in the Stock 1000 class, and he's going to go for a championship title, and being able to be in contention here and potentially go for the win. He's certainly putting his name into the mix for riders that are going to be there for at the end.
And this lap, the top 3 have really closed up a lot. We get to the point of the race yesterday where things kind of change when tire wear. Guys getting some laps on their tires. Can they still maintain the same pace they had the first 5 or 6 laps for the rest?
And that was one of the things that Benjamin Smith did say, was that at the end of the race, he was just having to push so hard. They didn't have anything left in it, and they were going to work on that overnight. And he wanted to ride a different race today. Maybe that's why he didn't fight Uribe early on in the race. Maybe he wanted to save something here for the second half.
And that's smart. Just kind of let Jason do the work and pull you guys up to Ashton. If they battle back and forth, they're going to let Ashton pull away even more.
You can see these top 4 staying right there together as we are now working lap number 6 of this 11-lap battle. Ashton Yates continuing to lead after Hayden Gillum went down early. If you missed that, our pole sitter and race winner from yesterday is out of contention for today's race, but Ashton Yates was the rider that was there, and he was ready to take advantage, and he's been leading the field ever since.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job leading this, setting a really good pace as well. It seems like between Ashton and Jason Uribe, they got certain parts of the track where one part Ashton pulls away, the next one Jason Uribe is able to close it down.
You know, with Hayden out of this race, Roger, as a rider, they knew that they couldn't catch him unless he was going to make a mistake. And yesterday, that's what they said. They had to push so hard to try and get up there and stay on the backside of him. With Hayden out of it and Ashton now setting the pace, are they going to be better able to make it to the end?
Yeah, well, I think now, but for Ashton, he has to set the pace, and the battle here is going to change. Danilo Lewis able to make a really good pass. Wasn't able to make it stick. I think the biggest thing that's going to be different, these guys are now battling for a win instead of, a podium spot, and that changes the game.
It's Richard Kerr there on the number 75 with Danilo Lewis on the number 94. That is a battle to stay into the top 5, but this battle for second continuing to heat up as Jason Uribe continues to lead Benjamin Smith, but Benjamin Smith is getting closer and closer each lap by, now just right behind him.
Yeah, Benjamin, a little mistake into 3 there, but you can tell Ben's getting a little bit racy as this race winds down. This is yesterday where he felt like his tire was starting to go off, so we'll see if those changes he made overnight make a big difference.
You see the lap progression there. Jason Uribe was quicker earlier on, and Benjamin Smith on that last lap was able to go quicker than Jason Uribe. Bryce Prince still there in the picture. He's sitting in 4th right now. So he was looking for another podium finish after he had one back at Barber Motorsports Park earlier on in this season. But look at the gap that Ashton has now over second place.
Yeah, he's really good coming out of that chicane there. You can see the gap that he's able to pull, and for Ashton right now, just doing a great job, not making mistakes. You can see Jason Uribe is able to close up a little bit on the brakes in there, but Ashton gets such a good run out of this last corner. Last lap, it was 8/10. We'll see that come across the finish line now. It's down almost a half a second, so these guys are definitely closing on Ashton quick.
One of the things that Ashton said yesterday was he didn't want to sacrifice the race that he had going himself in order to keep pushing, and you can see as he's leading the race today, he's not having to sacrifice a whole lot of anything either, but now with 4 laps to go, it's time to start doing that.
It's time to go because Jason is there, and the battle he's going to have somebody pressuring for a pass really quick. Jason Uribe is really good through this left-hander through there, and then to this next right one, you can see how he closes it up quite a bit through there. And Jason's going to be able to get to study Ashton and know where he's quicker as this race winds down.
There's a yellow flag in this section of the racetrack. Saw it there. Jason Uribe going through the first sector. They're now working sector 3, but he did his personal best through sector number 1 on this lap, and he was also quicker than Ashton Yates through both sectors 1 and 2. So the gap is closing even more than what we saw on that last lap with timing and scoring.
And Jason's bringing Benjamin Smith with him as well, and Bryce Prince is trying to tag on as well. So a couple laps to go, we might end up with a 4-rider battle.
All 4 of them certainly staying right there. You saw Richard Kerr in the background. He is in 5th place right now, but these front 4, with the racing that we saw yesterday and the way that the last couple of laps can shake out, any of these guys can do it.
Yeah, and they closed again at just a 10th. It looks, you know, when they get out of the last corner, Ashton gets the run. It looks a lot closer on the brakes into 12 as they're slowing down. But Ashton's really good at getting out of that last corner. You can see he kind of pulls back out.
Just under 0.4 of a second separating Jason Uribe from Ashton Yates, but he's been sitting behind him now, Roger, for the last, since, you know, lap number, what was it, 3? So for the last several laps, Jason's been sitting there and he studies. He's a smart rider and he knows where he has an advantage. At what point does he make the move?
In this second sector, where they're at right now, it seems like where Jason is really strong. So maybe if he can get a good run and sneak up the inside of him there on the last lap. But that's what Jason's doing right now, just studying and trying to figure out. Catching Ashton Yates is one thing, making the pass is going to be a different one.
When you know that the laps are ticking away. 3 laps left in this 11-lap race for now. And for Jason, do you make the move when you have the chance, even though there's still some laps left?
As soon as you get the chance, I think Jason's going to try to make the pass. If he feels like he has more speed than Ashton and that he can pull away, because if Jason sits behind Ashton too long, he's going to have Benjamin Smith trying to make a pass on him.
Yeah, Benjamin Smith, good point, right there in 3rd. He's just right behind Jason Uribe, so he's ready to pounce whenever the opportunity presents itself, but Ashton Yates still in control as Jason Uribe now getting even closer, and it looks like he might be ready.
He's there. So now, you know, he's going to see there's only 2 laps left, so he's going to start running out of opportunities. See a wider line right through turn 2 there, and Ashton's able to pull it out just a little bit.
Look at the lap progression. Jason Uribe continuing to be quicker than Ashton Yates on the last 3 laps of this race, but it doesn't come down to speed when you're in race trim. It comes down to making the move and just being ahead of him on the racetrack.
Yeah, and this is where Jason's been so strong through this right-hander and possibly try to set himself up to be on the inside and to the left, but Ashton kind of feels him and put the block and turned in a little bit early there.
Yeah, Ashton's doing a great job defending that lead that he has right now. Even though his head is forward, I haven't seen him look over his shoulder at all. He knows that Jason is there, and he said it yesterday, I'm not making sacrifices, I'm running my own race, and you can see him doing it.
And he's going to fight. These guys are going to fight hard for this win, so when Jason does catch Ashton, if he does, he's going to make a really good pass and make sure he doesn't let Ashton come back right away.
See the 78 there, Benjamin Smith, patiently sitting in that 3rd position. He was ahead of Jason Uribe early on, but once Jason made that move, Ben hasn't been right up there to try and take it back yet. You think he's staying smart, or do you think he knows he doesn't have the speed?
I don't think he knows he doesn't have the speed. With the race winding down, he would already been able to make that pass, but he could possibly be in a good spot if these 2 riders fighting for the win actually get into each other.
You saw the white flag wave. This is the final lap of race number 2 for Stock 1000. Ashton Yates continuing to lead this battle, and these front 2 riders in the battle for the lead have pulled away now from Benjamin Smith and Bryce Prince, but Jason Uribe making that move.
Right into turn 3, was able to get on the inside, but can he hold it?
We watched him sit behind Ashton Yates lap after lap, studying and taking his own personal notes, and you see him make that move stick, and Ashton Yates is right there. He knows it's the final lap of this race, and if he's going to get back around him and get a win, he's going to have to do it now.
He's going to have to strike really quick, because this next part of the track gets kind of tight and technical, and we've seen Jason's been able to get through this left-hander really quick, so it might come down to that turn 12.
While Ashton controlled the whole middle section of this race and controlled the pace, Jason Uribe continued to improve and get quicker and quicker each lap by. That's what these riders talked about yesterday. They didn't have enough left in the tank at the end to do anything, but today they held on. And on this final lap of the race, Jason Uribe still has a bike underneath him where he's turning his best times.
Yeah, and Ashton gets a good run through here, and he might try to make the pass on the inside. Jason does a great job blocking, but does he cut it too tight? Ashton's going to try to come under him here into the last corner.
And as they come around on this final lap, it is still Jason Uribe who is going to the checker. Ashton Yates right behind him, but Jason Uribe taking the victory here for race number 2 and Stock 1000 is your Brainerd International Raceway winner. You can see the pump of the fist. He is excited.
Yeah, it's great to see Jason back and get that win. You can see what it means to him, and also for Orange Cat able to get that win. And you can see on the left Jason's lap times, just how consistent they were, and even toward the end of the race he was still able to do those low. Look at the last 3 laps, 33.2 all the way to finish the race.
So consistent. He knew that he needed to better pace himself after the race yesterday, and he did just that, riding a perfect run for him. And Jason Uribe, our race winner today, with Ashton Yates finishing second, and then Benjamin Smith, another solid day in terms of championship points, rounding out our podium.
MotoAmerica Stock 1000 coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
And the cool down lap underway for Jason Uribe as he continues to celebrate the victory here at Brainerd International Raceway. Roger, as a rider, the helmet's still on, but you can see he's feeling it out there.
Yeah, and he's been away for a couple years as well, so you can just see the excitement of him being back and getting that win, and just how huge it is for him to come in here and get a win. And not only that, phenomenal ride as well. Took his time, striked when the opportunity was there.
Yeah, rode a very smart race, and we mentioned it earlier on. This is only the second round of the championship for Stock 1000. Here are the full race results from today. Jason Uribe right there at the top with Ashton Yates, Benjamin Smith on the podium, but Bryce Prince and Danilo Lewis being able to stay inside the top 5.
And Richard Kerr with another top 6, Travis Wyman 7th, Deion Campbell 8th, and Justin Meese in front of the hometown crowd 9th.
It's a good run for Travis Wyman. He started back in 11th, so he was able to make up some positions and make some of those passes stick on the racetrack to get a good top 10 result. Take a look at Alex Arango down there in 10th. He's also one of the team owners here in MotoAmerica. A good run for him. And JC Camacho down in 12th. Gabriel Da Silva, after not finishing yesterday, he was able to score some points.
And Nolan Lampkin with that crash got back up, got into the race, was able to end up 14th and collecting some points. And the last point goes to 15th place, Anthony Norton.
And you see Bobby Davis and down there, and riders now look at this. Jason Uribe meeting his team, everyone from Orange Cat Racing over in the podium area to be able to celebrate.
Happy Father's Day!
You heard through those Audio Technica microphones. Happy Father's Day. It's always special, these moments, Roger.
Yeah, it's a great gift to give his dad right there behind him. The win, can't think of something better. And what a great grab by Jason, and what a cool opportunity.
The celebrations for these riders are always really cool, that we get to see the behind the scenes, the shots. We get to see the first moment when the rider gets in there and everybody's there to celebrate. Ashton Yates there with a big congratulations. You can hear all of these conversations. Let's take a look back at the highlights from this race, Roger.
Yeah, race 2, Hayden Gillen for pole position. A really good start, just like yesterday. Early on in the race, we thought maybe we're going to see Hayden try to make the sneak away again like he did yesterday. Benjamin Smith, great start. Ashton Yates with a really good start as well. Benjamin Smith, look at him in this rear end sliding through turn 2, and you see Hayden up there at about a 1.5 second lead early on, and then disaster struck in turn 4 with a big crash for Hayden. That Honda's going to need some work to get back out there. Hayden's out of the race, just glad to see him up and okay. And from there, Ashton Yates was handed the lead, and from there he just did consistent laps till the last lap. Jason Uribe studied him, made the pass into 3, and was able to hold it. Ashton tried to strike back there toward the end, but just wasn't close enough.
It all came down to that BMW of Jason Uribe. being able to take home the victory today. Cool slow motion shots. Let's take a look now at the points after 4 races being run so far. Hayden Gillum with his 75 still continues to lead. Those 3 wins certainly helped out this buffer, but Jason Uribe with the win today, Roger, moves to second.
And you can just see how close it is. Bryce Prince, Ashton Yates, Benjamin Smith, all within 23 points.
Richard Kerr earning points today. That was a big day for him, and Danilo Lewis being able to stay in it. I think all the riders are down there now. Let's go down to Joe Inkier.
I have the winner here, Jason Uribe. Congratulations, big smiles over here. Well, Jason, you ran almost a perfect race. I mean, you were sitting right behind Ashton there, striking at the final moment. Talk me through it.
Oh man, I was trying to plan out the race, just trying to be smart with my tires, smart with my body. I knew that he was super fast through turn 1. I knew if I could just stay somewhat close going into turn 3, it'd be a good spot. So I just tried to bide my time, and then I saw last lap come around, and I was thinking, all right, well now it's time to go. So we tried to pull the pin. The last few corners, I just tried to ride super defensive. I knew everybody would be on my butt. So overall, huge shout out to everybody, the Orange Cat crew, Alpha Racing, everybody, Wrecked Racing. Thank you guys so much for the awesome bike. Everybody here, happy Father's Day, and looking forward to the next round.
Indeed. How aware were you of what was going on front with Hayden, and of course your chance to take such a huge win for you and for Orange Cat Racing?
Yeah, as soon as I saw Hayden go down, I knew the intensity was going to bump up a little bit, because instead of fighting for second, we'd be fighting for first. So I wasn't quite sure how big of a gap that we had to everybody in our group, but I just kept seeing 0.2 to the person behind me, and I knew that once the tires started falling off, I'd have to get up and go. So that's what I tried to focus on, and here we are.
Well, congratulations. A huge win there for Jason Uribe. Let's take you over to your second place on the podium, Ashton Yates. Now, Ashton Yates, you were so close to joining your father as a Stock 100 champion here on Father's Day. So close. How are you feeling? Emotions? Almost had it there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good, and I was feeling pretty great out there when I saw Hayden go down. I was trying to take advantage of the situation and try to make a gap if I could. And I think towards the end, I just used the tire a good bit, and I'm not really running any TC out there, so just using the wrist. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. It sucks there at the end to get past, but I know I was strong in most of the other parts of the track, and we'll just take this on to the next round and see what we can do in Seattle.
Well, a great weekend overall for you, and a great Father's Day present for your dad, who I'm sure is watching from home. Well, let's take it over to your third place on the podium, over to Benjamin Smith, who also has a Father's Day story. I know you and your dad worked together on this family team. Another podium for you this weekend. Talk me through how this one played out and how you felt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it. First of all, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, especially my dad. He's been #1 part of my program. But yeah, otherwise, that was a great race. Yeah, like we said, when Hayden fell out, I knew that the intensity was going to pick up a little bit. I mean, us 4 guys at the front were basically nose to tail there the whole time. They were a little bit stronger than me in some sections, and vice versa. But I just tried to do everything that I could to put myself in the right position on the last lap should have something happened between the front 2 there. And overall, super happy to walk away with 2 podiums this weekend. The whole Flow for Law racing team gave me a great bike. Northeast Cycle Outlet, Flex Racing, MotoAmerica's Dainese official, Yamaha, Motor USA for giving me this great R1 to ride. So yeah, can't thank everybody enough.
Well, congratulations. 2 podiums in the weekend. You have to be happy with that. Well done, everyone.
You hear those interviews, Roger, and Jason Uribe, he knew it was the last lap, and he said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now, and he made it stick. But he knew he had to be defensive.
And just, you know, the thing with being defensive, you opened up the exit off some of the other corners, but Jason was able to really use, you know, just that last lap, able to know where he was strong at. You got to feel for Ashton a little bit to lead that long and be that close to the win and not get it.
But he knew, he said, I just used my tire too much, and he's going to take all of what he learned today and how hard he was pushing, and he's going to be able to take it on to the next round. We'll take a look at the remaining season schedule for the Stock 1000 category. They're going to go with us in just 2 weeks' time over to Ridge Motorsports Park, and then in July over to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, before taking the month of August off and wrapping up the championship at New Jersey Motorsports Park. So still 3 rounds of racing left for all of these Stock 1000 competitors. We're not even halfway there yet.
Still got a long ways to go, and we've seen this weekend how one race can really tighten up the points.
And stay here to watch this special moment for Jason Uribe being able to take home that first place trophy, top step of the podium. Congratulations to all three of those riders. We're going to step away for just a quick moment. We'll be right back after this.